Hello everyone, it's Helen here with Helping Up with Helen. Thanks for joining me. I hope it's okay that I'm eating lunch today. I wanted to make a video while everything was still fresh on the brain. I'm going to call this video Trust the Process because I think that we are all needing to trust God for something in our lives right now. I know that I am, and I know that I have been for over the last year. In fact, lately I have just been praying to God. I'm like, I need clarity and I need transparency and I need direction. And I have been asking and asking and asking. And so trust me on this particular scripture though, Matthew 7:7, where it says, ask and you shall receive, seek and you shall find, knock and the door will be open, because God will answer. I can't tell you when, and you may have to wait, but eventually you will get the answers that you are looking for, because I have seen him throughout this process, throughout this year process, show up in so many different ways and answer in so many different ways that I wasn't even really expecting. However, he did answer. And in fact, he just answered something for me in the last 24 hours. That's why I'm sitting here eating and reeling. And I wanted to make this video because I have been praying about the job opportunity that I was offered almost a year ago, and I'm still not doing it. And so I have been praying lately though for some clarity and some transparency, like, God, what should I do? And what are we doing? And is this where you want me to be? Because a year ago, I was so certain and I was so excited that I was maybe going to go back into flying. As many of you know, I was a flight attendant in my 20s. And then I went on to be a mom and a coffee shop owner and a life coach. And then last year I started applying with some airlines and got some activity. I actually got hired on by a few. And then I ended up going with one. But you guys, I still haven't started that job. And so we are now living in Florida, and this was going to be my base where I was supposed to be based out of. And we moved down here, and not solely because I was going to be flying, because, you know, I've wanted to move to Florida, as many of you know, for like forever. But that was going to be one of the perks of it, is that I was going to be doing something that I used to love and be in the place that I was really excited to be. But it kind of has been getting pushed off, and it got pushed off again, and it got pushed off again. And then last night I got home from this really fun fall festival. I was feeling it. It was amazing. It was at our church. It was so good. And then I go and I start scrolling through my emails, and lo and behold, I have an email in there and it tells me that, sorry, we're not going to put you through training here in Tampa, like at all. Not in 2025, not in 2026. But however, we've got these other bases. If you're interested, you can, submit one of those, and, maybe in a few months we'll put you for training in one of these other bases, but Tampa's not going to be it. So I sat there last night just kind of like in a daze, like, I didn't see that one coming, God. I mean, I seen a lot of other things maybe happening, but I didn't see that coming. And so I was just like, wow. So I didn't get to bed until really late. I woke up in the middle of the night and I was reeling. And then this morning, again, I'm just kind of been numb. So I went and got myself this big, yummy Chick-fil-A salad, guys. I mean, side note, but in Chick-fil-A, if you have not had the spicy chicken salad with the lime avocado ranch dressing, you got to. It's my new favorite. It's my new favorite. It's making everything better right now as I'm sitting here like, God, what just happened here? So I'm praying again today. One, though, I am so thankful, because I'm one of those people who like to know. I don't know if you're one of those people, but I got to know. Like, I'm not one of those, I don't want to hide my head in the dirt and pretend like it's not happening. I'm like, no, give it to me straight. I got to know. And so I am so grateful for like the truth. Now I know, like, hey, you're not going to be flying out of Tampa, because guys, I've been in limbo. I've been down here for 5 months now. But I've been in limbo, kind of like even second guessing, like, am I making the right choice going back to flying? And should I fly? And am I, am I past a point where it's not going to be, the same thing that I thought it was, or that it was in my early 20s, because it was an amazing career then, but I was just like, I don't know. So already I was kind of bouncing back and forth, and there was some confusion setting in, which I know that's from the enemy. Confusion is, he's the author of confusion. So that's why whenever you are dealing with that confusion, pray about it and say, God, I need clarity here, and I need some discernment, and I need some wisdom, because right now I don't like where I'm at, and I don't know what we're doing, and I don't know what's happening. And so that confusion was really starting to set in on me, like, is this the right choice? And so I told God, like, I'm like, please make that decision and please make it known for me. And then I got that particular email. Now, I don't know that I'm completely ruling out the profession as a whole, but it is really nice to know now, at least, like, you're not going to be doing it in Tampa, Helen. But you guys, I live in Tampa now. So now I'm going to trust the process as I watch God reveal himself and reveal his plan, because he will reveal it and he will guide your steps. If you allow God to guide your steps, trust me, he will lead you. He will guide you. He will direct every step of the way. We just got to let him. So it felt almost freeing again today to be like, God, you take the wheel. You take over. I've been kind of stressing and striving, and I've been confused, and I've been wondering and doubting, and all of these different things that aren't of him was creeping in of that unknown space. Because I think sometimes when we have that unknown space, or we have a waiting period, those things will start to creep in, and they're from the enemy. And so that's why it's so important to continue to ask God for that wisdom, and ask him for that clarity, and ask him for peace. That is the number one thing. And in fact, I was talking to somebody a couple weeks ago, and I'm like, I'm just not sure. So it's really been kind of getting a little heavier. I'm just like, I'm just not sure. And they said, well, how will you know when you're sure? And I knew right away. I said, it'll be peace. Because that is something that God and I have always had together. I'm not saying it's going to be easy. However, it's going to be a peace that surpasses all understanding, if you know what I mean. That little inkling where you're like, okay, even if you have to make a really, really hard decision, you still have like this inner peace about it. And the thing that I had been lacking as of late was peace. And I'm like, you know what? I don't have peace. And that's normally what God and I always have. And that's what directs me to move forward. Even if it's huge moves, like moving across the country to Florida, I had peace about it. But this particular situation, I didn't have that peace. And I'm like, whoa, something's missing. Because anytime I've ever done anything in my life, that's always been there. That's kind of been my anchor, and that's always kind of been my go-to to move forward. And that should probably be all of our anchored. Like, hey, I've got some peace about this. I don't know. I may not know all the details. I may not know how this is going to work out, but I know that I have a still small voice, some inner peace that's saying, do it. And so we should operate off of peace. And that's the one thing that had been missing for me. And so I'm so grateful for this clarity right now. However, I don't know what's going to happen next. I'm sorry about the little background music. I got one of those new little phone, or one of those watches, that has the phone on it. So now that thing is ringing off the hook. But I'm excited to see where God is going to lead and where he's going to direct. So anybody else who is maybe in the same situation, keep asking and keep praying, because I think it's Isaiah 30:21, where it says, whether you look to the left or you look to the right, you will hear a still small voice behind you saying, this is the way you should go. Walk in it. So we have that inner still small voice that will direct us and show us what to do. Obviously, I always pray over everything, guys. Pray that you will find it in the word. Of course, right here, I'm reading the Bible. I'm looking, I'm always seeking. I'm like, okay, God, what are you saying? Always listening to my heart, obviously, just kind of like, God, what are you saying to my heart? What are you saying to me? But I'm in the word. I even say, songs, get into little books and say okay, God, are you speaking to me through this? Obviously a trusted, loved one, a friend, somebody that you really, really value their opinion, and, they can give you godly advice. But, if you're really seeking some counsel and you're really seeking discernment, truly, truly call out to God, because the Holy Spirit is your guide and is your counselor and is your comfort. So we'll give you all of the things that you're looking for. And sometimes I've always went to like people for that, like looking like, okay, well, what do you think? And what do you think? And what do you think? And now I try to be a little bit more mindful about that. Even though I do value other people's opinion, I really, really want to have, like I said, that advice, that counsel, that inner like peace, that contentment through like the word and through God and just like ways that he might be speaking to me elsewhere before you kind of fill your mind with the world and maybe what other people are thinking, because that is one fast track downhill sometimes, because you get so easily distracted, and so many people, even though they may be giving you okay advice, it can be a real big distraction and it can really get you off course. And so right now I'm really trying not to do that. I'm really trying to see like, okay, God, what are we going to do next? I'm going to trust this process. Wherever you want me to go and whatever you want me to do, that's where I want to be. Because you guys, I have been in situations that I have put myself in from time to time that were maybe not God's best for me, and they are excruciating and they are so incredibly painful to the point where I'm like, I can't do that again. And so almost though, where you don't want to let that paralyze you either though, because you can get to the point where you're like, ooh, that was so painful that I don't even want to take a step. No, we still take our steps of faith and we still keep moving forward with God. We just make sure that we are with God and we're going where he wants us to be, because again, that can save you a lot of pain and suffering down the road. And so I'm excited, even though, like I said, I was a little bit sad about it, because I'm like, okay, this is not what I was expecting, because I was expecting something else. In fact, I was expecting to start training here in the next month, because that's what I had last heard is like, hey, or you're going to start training here really soon is what I was told. And so now I'm kind of like, well, we're back to square one. So what are we going to do now? But you guys will be the first to know. One of the things that I'm absolutely loving being down here in Florida, and I wasn't sure how it's going to work though, is that I have been doing some of my Christian life coaching, which is really nice. So I would love to continue to do that. And I have joined a beautiful church down here, which has been really cool. It's a Radiant Church in Tampa, and they've got like 11 different locations. So if you're looking like for an amazing church, and I've started to like get involved. I joined some groups, which I've never really joined groups before in a church, like ever, joined actually like a group. And it's been a minute. I've been going to church for a while. And so this is the kind of my first like group settings that I've been going to. And already I'm just like, it just feels like home. And, I've just met so many beautiful, amazing, loving people, and just watching God open those doors there. And at first I was so nervous. I was so scared to join this group, because I was just like, I don't really want to open up, and I don't really want to let myself in, and I don't really know. And, I'll just sit back here and kind of be quiet and observe. And you guys, I was quiet for maybe the first night. And then now you can't keep me quiet. So I'm just meeting such beautiful people and just watching God open those doors as well. And a funny story, he's just in every single detail of our lives and in your life, because I was on the beaches of Cancun last year, and that's how I found this church that I'm at right now in Florida, which is so crazy. I was talking to a lady down there, and I was just like, yeah, I'm moving. It's going to be really important for me to find a really good church to go to, because I was leaving a really good church in Casper. And I'm like, so that's on the forefront. And she was just like, well, I have some good friends that live down in Tampa, and they go to this church called Radiant. And so she had told me about that. Several months later, I get here, I'm looking for a church, and I kind of am like looking like, reviews, like, what do people say? And then all of a sudden Radiant pops up, and I'm like, I think that's that church that lady mentioned to me on the beach in Cancun. And so I knew it because I was like, that's an original name. It was something that kind of stuck out. So then we end up like finding out that there is this particular church that's like 10 minutes away from where I live, like 10 minutes, no kidding, and start going there, and the rest is history. So that's how God works. He's so meticulous, and he's in every single detail, and he's directing every single step of our lives. So we can take a deep breath and we can trust him. Okay. So whatever it is that you are needing deliverance from, or you're needing clarity from, or you're needing some transparency in, trust me, he's working on it. He's going to reveal it. Maybe not in the way that you think, but what I've come to find, it's always 1,000 times better. The way that he reveals things and his perfect timing and the way that he does it, I'm like, wow, I wouldn't have even thought of that, or I wouldn't have even imagined. And he's just always so sweet and so kind. And like I said, perfectly on time. So we can trust him. I don't know what is next, but today I'm like, you know what? I'm not doing anything really today, but connecting with God to just see if I can hear something. So I'm going to eat my salad and I'm going to read my Bible. I'm going to maybe clean and throw on a little bit of worship music and see if anything's speaking to me. But if nothing else, I'm just going to praise. I'm just going to worship. I'm going to give thanks, because we have to also be really, really, really thankful and grateful for closed doors. So not every door is just going to be an open door. We have to be super grateful and thankful for closed doors as well, and trust that God knows exactly what's best for us and what isn't. And maybe, just maybe, that lack of peace that I had was him saying, like, this isn't what I want for you. But that doesn't mean that he can't use it, because you guys, he did use it to get the ball rolling, to get me here to Tampa living. So my husband and I, we moved down here, picked up our house, grabbed the dogs, packed up everything we owned, and we moved to Florida. And that got rolling a little bit sooner than it would have had the airline thing not popped up. So he can even use that to get you to where he wants you to be. So keep that in mind. Anyways, guys, thanks for watching. I just wanted to make this video and just wanted to talk to you guys. So love you all. Take care. God bless.